Hi everybody, I'm Lance Porter. In this video I want to teach you how to paint a mouth using oil paints on canvas. And I'm going to start by showing you some things on a finished portrait, and then I'm going to cut to the close-up and do a little bit of a painting demonstration. So to start with, there are just a few rules of thumb you can go by in terms of painting a mouth. The darkest part of a mouth is very frequently in the corners of the mouth between the lips, particularly when the mouth is open, as this one is. So these areas here are the darkest parts of the mouth. Now the next darkest part is typically the upper lip. If you go into the bathroom, look in the mirror, and really look at the way your lips are angled, you'll notice that the top lip is angled like this. So if the light is coming from above eye level, which it usually is, the top lip shadows itself. So it would be darker. In this case, it's not dramatically darker because this model is flat lit for the most part, like a contemporary glamour portrait today. So the difference is not great. Nonetheless, the top lip is in fact darker than the bottom lip. It almost always is. Now if you look at your bottom lip in the mirror, especially if you turn sideways and look out of the corner of your eye, you'll notice that it is angled like this, facing into the light. And so the bottom lip is almost always lighter than the top lip, as it is in this case. But in addition to that, it very frequently catches highlights. And you can see I've painted a row of highlights right here on this model's lip. If you're painting a grown-up woman like this one, who is or might be wearing lipstick or lip gloss, then you're going to have more highlights because her lips will be shinier. If you're painting a man or a young girl who would not be wearing makeup of any kind, then the highlights will be much less dramatic. But in this case, kind of a glamour portrait, you will have highlights, and it's essential that you paint them in. Now, in this portrait, you notice the teeth are showing. Historically, traditionally, there is no tradition for painting teeth in a portrait. Think about the Mona Lisa, her famous smile. Her mouth is closed. In fact, some people speculated maybe she had bad teeth. Well, maybe she did. There was really no dentistry as we know it at that time. All they could do with a bad tooth was pull it, and that didn't make your smile look any better. So if you look at all the old masters, you will rarely see any teeth in their portraits. It's just almost unheard of. They had their subjects keep their mouth closed. And frankly, that simplifies painting, but you can't do it today. Because today people have beautiful teeth, they spend thousands and thousands of dollars on them, and they want to show them off. So if you're going to be a contemporary portrait painter and paint modern day people, you're going to have to paint teeth. So a couple of rules of thumb when you're painting teeth, and again I'll show you this close up. First of all, do not paint lines between the teeth. If you do, it'll look like a picket fence. It'll look like your model has lines between the teeth, as wide as a mile. Don't paint any lines, not even the faintest, grayest, thinnest line you can paint between the teeth. What you do instead is you paint the shadow indentations at the bottom of the teeth. And again, I'm going to show you this close up in just a minute. And at the top, you may paint reverse indentations that are caused by the gums at the top of the teeth, which go to a point at the top part of the tooth. And of course, you want to make sure you line up the indentation, which comes part of the way up the bottom of the tooth in shadow, with the indentation of the gum at the top. And when you do that, the mind's eye will fill in the line between them. If you're looking at this right now, I bet you're shaking your head saying, Lance, you lion so-and-so, you painted a line between that girl's teeth. Well, I didn't. It's your mind filling in the line. I painted the indentation at the bottom of the teeth, and I lined that up with the gum indentation in reverse at the top of the teeth, and it creates the illusion that there's a line. Another important point, you can't make the teeth white. It's tempting. Your model's teeth may be dazzling white. She may have a Hollywood smile. And you think, well, I got to make those white. If you do, it'll look like she has buck teeth. It'll look like the teeth are jumping out of the mouth. There's a principle in painting I've discussed in some of my other videos that we're going to use to make lifelike lips in this case. And that is that light colors advance toward the viewer while dark colors recede from the viewer. And using that principle is how you can make some things look like they're closer to the viewer and some things look like they're farther away. So for example, when we paint the bottom lip, we want to make it look rounded. The only way in the world to do that is to make it darkest where it meets the teeth, then lighter where it is full or rounded, and then darker again at the bottom of the lip. So dark recedes, the lighter part comes out, and then the dark part recedes under as the form rolls away from the light. So we're going to do a little bit about that. But we have to do that with the teeth too. If we made them pure white, this principle I just discussed, that light colors advance, dark colors recede, is what would make her look bucktooth. It would really make the teeth look like they were protruding right out of the mouth. So how do we knock the teeth back into the mouth where they belong? By painting them with a mixture of burnt umber and white, which gives you a light, warm, grayish brown. And that's what we're going to paint the teeth with. So let's cut to the close-up. Oh, one other point I want to make. The mouth is a rather small area to work in. So for this demonstration, I'm going to be using my small round brush. This is a number 3 round brush. And I'm going to be using this brush both to apply the paint, then I'm going to clean it with mineral spirits and dry it with a paper towel. And I use the same brush to do my blending because my big blending brush would just wipe everything into oblivion. It wouldn't fit into the small places that I have to work with.